Picture this. You post a reel about Black folks doing something cool in nature and it goes viral, over 1 million views. That's how I went from a content creator to a camp guru at Camp Yoshi. My boy Rashad Frazier took a simple idea. What if Black people had a safe space to heal in nature? And he turned it into a movement. This is Unmapped. And this Black History Month, we're going to talk about how the outdoors became our sanctuary. All right, so I got my guy here, Rashad Frazier, in the building, the chef, the entrepreneur, and the co-founder of Camp Yoshi. But before we get into all that, I gotta let him know about how he even got here, how he even got this started, man. Tell him about the Tell Your Ride adventure. Let's go. Let's start there.
So Jamie has become a really close friend, a brother. He's a Camp Yoshi alumni. Met this brother back in 2021. 2022.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, he came on the Ouray, Colorado San Juan Mountains trip, man. Had this really epic base camp in the San Juan Mountains. Tell You Right 12, a bunch of Atlanta folks, man. A mix of HBCU folks, a lot of beautiful just Blackness up on the mountain, man. It was an amazing 3 nights, 4 days, man. But anyway, Jamie came in, I guess kind of last minute. I don't think you were originally a part of the original crew.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a part of the original group, but I was like, this sounds like something I want to be a part of.
Yeah, so he got the nod, man. It came out, and let's just say Jamie showed up and showed out.
Yeah,
ever since then, man, he's been with us ever since. So, what is this, like your 6th, 7th, 8th? I've lost count.
Right. Yeah, I lost count too, man. Especially after this summer, I've lost count, man. But it's been an absolute blessing, man, to be a part of it. And I just love what you're building, and it's something so special. And so, I also know that last summer, man. So Rashad talked a little bit about the experience in Tell You Right, but because I had such an amazing experience in the outdoors, and since then I've done quite a few Camp Yoshi adventures, I made a reel. We wanted to kind of promote the work that was doing on Camp Yoshi, and the Camp Yoshi reel went crazy, over 1 million views, man. What was your reaction when you saw that thing blow up?
I was smiling from ear to ear, man. I mean, obviously you and I know the sweet sauce of Camp Yoshi, but to see so many folks just respond to what you had cranked out, showing the real experiences on our trips, it was beautiful, man. And honestly, the response was insane. Broke our website. Broke our email. I mean, at that point, we were trying to figure out how to keep up with just all the inquiries. But honestly, it was a huge blessing.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. And I think that's just what the people want to hear. So let's go there. Let's start from the beginning. You, your brother Ron, your wife Shaquita, y'all didn't just wake up one day and decide to start camping company. What planted the seed?
So Ron and I have been doing these trips called Trips to Nowhere. It was like a little brotherly escapes, man. At that time, I was living in New York City still. He was living in North Carolina. And he would ship his car out to like a Utah or to like an Arizona for just let's fly in, pick the truck up and go mob around. And that 2-year run, I'm kind of going out, camping, exploring, making mistakes, meeting people. That kind of built up our repetitions, our reps, you know what I'm saying? To kind of get the confidence and just the know-how. And by the time we pretty much came to realizing we had something special here. We had an archive of campsites and routes and locations. And so I made the move from New York City in 2019 to Oregon. And when I got out here, man, I was still running my food business back in New York City. But at that time, I fell in love with the outdoors even more. And so when COVID kind of kicked in 2020, I feel like I went full on just outdoor guy, you know what I'm saying? All the things between hiking, camping, fishing, everything, man. And it was so much stuff to get into around here in Portland, Oregon, because 30 minutes from my crib, man, there's amazing waterfalls and mountains and more. And so you just kind of like a kid again, man, in a lot of ways. And so the idea came from me and Ron having these pre-runs, but also I think with Keita and myself and Ron, it was more like, what could we do to kind of really create a space where, I'm saying, our community feels invited, they feel seen, they feel well fed, they feel warm, they feel inspired. And I think for most of my peers, man, whether from Howard or grew up from North Carolina, living in Brooklyn, most folks travel all around the world, everywhere you could think of, you know what I'm saying? But not many folks explore their own backyard here in the U.S. So I feel like our sweet spot, the value we really offer at Camp Yoshi was, let us show you your own backyard our way. And I think you'll fall in love with outdoors the way we did.
Man, and you kind of alluded to this, but you started this around 2020. So you're talking about right in the middle of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. That wasn't a coincidence.
No, not at all, man. I mean, a lot of that was pure energy, responding to just all that bullshit was going on, man. I feel like we also were trying to figure out what is our reaction and response to kind of create spaces for us to breathe, heal, recharge, turn off the noise. The spots we go to oftentimes don't have signal. And I think for a lot of times when it comes to rest and wellness and restoration, outdoors, the way we were offering was kind of somewhat new, from
Yeah.
that lens. That was a hell of a year, a very exhausting year. But I think at that time, since most of us couldn't really move around, I mean, obviously George Floyd and Black Lives Matter is happening at an all-time clip, but also it's COVID. So you couldn't go anywhere. And so I feel like the outdoors in our own backyard was like our only sanctuary for a lot of folks. And I think the timing, I think a lot of luck, a lot of favor. I had some PPP money left over from,
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
I was sitting
Thanks.
on some cash, man. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'm put it in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I would say I was burnt out for the New York City chef scene, but I was ready for something new. And I think I had fallen deeper in love, which is outdoors, man. So I was like, damn, it'd be kind of cool to cook outdoors for clients and for folks and kind of show them a good time, man. So it all happened the way it happened. And here we are 6 years later.
Man, I love that. And so tell the folks about the name Yoshi. I know there's a story behind that. Break that down for the people.
Yeah, so before I got into the outdoors, I was running a food business in New York City. The brand was called Yoshi Jenkins. It was a play on the Afro-Asian intersection of cooking and foodways. And so you got the African diaspora, you got the Asian diaspora. There's a lot of overlap as far as those stories and whatnot, man. So Yoshi Jenkins was the name of the brand. And that was for our foray for a good 8 years, 9 years. And then once COVID happened, I didn't really know if Camp Yoshi was a long-term thing. So I felt like, you know what, we got Yoshi Jenkins. Right now, business is kind of slow. I'm going to put up a sign saying going camping. And here we are. But it worked out it worked out better than I imagined, obviously. But yeah, man, it comes from an Afro-Asian food storytelling in a lot of ways with my previous brand, man. So it kind of just stuck. A lot of the gear we use is Japanese-based brands, man. So I feel like it kind of happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Hey, man, and that's how it is, man. Taking those opportunities and turning it into something, turning it as a part of your narrative, a part of your story, man. So that's beautiful. So let's tell the people. So I want you to go back to that time, that entrepreneur, Rashad, man. What was that first trip like? Because starting a business is scary. And starting one when you're responsible for people's safety in the wilderness, that's next level, bro. So like, what was that first trip like?
So the first trip was actually, we did a test run in 2020 in the fall with like 10 brothers from Brooklyn. Amazing trip. I mean, honestly, talk about beta testing something and failing fast. All the kinks that we probably needed to deal with were dealt in that one trip, man. You know what I'm saying? Flat tires, vehicle breakdowns, someone impact coffee. I ain't say no name.
Yeah.
Getting help from a guy and had to trade him some cans of beer because we didn't have enough cash on hand. But
Yeah.
honestly, bro, it's the best thing that happened. And I think the beauty of that first run to get the shakedown trip was more so, not overthinking it, man. Like, what I'm saying? It's not going to be perfect, fail fast, get through all your little hiccups. But I think sometimes we overthink things as entrepreneurs and even as just people, man. So for us, that was like, throw it out there, see what happens. I knew that I had two things in play. One, we were great hosts as far as hospitality, showing a good time. The food's going to be amazing. And, I think in terms of just the energy of Camp Yoshi is a very magnetic brand that attracts a certain type of people.
People that want to go out. Yeah. People go out and explore, man. And honestly, I think you said some bars there in the sense of one, like not being afraid to start. Like you're gonna fail fast. You're gonna figure it out. And I think you just had this determination that this was a good product and you wanted to get it out. All right, so let's fast forward. So now, we got SOPs, we got a lot of at bats at the situations, and so we know these dope spots. But bro, we've talked about Camp Yoshi a little bit, but I want you, people who've never been on a trip, I want you to paint the picture. What happens from the moment someone shows up?
So our trips are based on plug and play. So when you come into a trip, you pretty much have a soft landing. Let's take our trips to nowhere, for example. You fly in, there's a hotel established for you, get to meet the group, welcome dinner. That's Thursday. And then Friday morning, wheels up, team mobs out. We got an excursion for that morning. It could be a hike, it could be rafting, it could be some type of forest bathe. But for the most part, you're getting your introduction to touching some grass. As that's all happening, the team's already pre-staged the entire campsite. So when you get to the campsite, it's not like you're going to put together this crazy setup. It's more like you get in, the whole thing's just dialed, man. All the tents, the gear, the tarps, the meals, the welcome cocktails. It's built to kind of soft landings across the board. We really want to focus on rest, food, and relaxation. And I think the brand kind of shows that across the board. In terms of the weekend, it's a mix of just, honestly, man, amazing meals, excursions daily, great sleep. We use amazing HES pads, which to me, for a grown man's body or a grown woman's body, It's one of those pads where you've had it before, Jamie. It's built around
that
just
mattress is better than my mattress at the house.
yeah.
So,
You bought one?
No. I said if that mattress is better than my mattress at the house. That head pad, yeah.
But seriously, man, I think the goal is like even if you're not an outdoors person or not a camper, I think the experiences we create make you question a few things. Like, damn, am I eating better at Camp Yoshi or at home? Am I sleeping better at Camp Yoshi or at home? Like all these things are in consideration on our trips, man. And I think the details what makes people keep coming back.
Bro, I just remember the first time I walked there, man, you looks like an REI ad or some like outfitter, like has just like, I mean, it looks like something, you don't want to touch your stuff because it's so laid out so well. So it's just the thought, the intentionality that you put behind it, I think just makes it really special. But we haven't even talked about your superpower, which is the food. So you're out here cooking gourmet meals over a campfire. How are you pulling that off?
Man, honestly, bro, I love feeding people, man. I love cooking. It's always been a passion of mine. I mean, back in the day, the whole goal was to kind of cook for survival and impressing my lady. And now I think it's a translation of just all those mistakes, but also all those gains in the process, man. I would say a lot of the food is thought out around prep and the flow of the trip. You know, for a certain excursion activity, there's going to be a quick turnaround between a hike and wanting to get back to camp in time before the sun sets. We got smart, fast fills that make sense. And then for like downtime in the evening, I think every camper, every person deserves a reward for the work, which is that sunset dinner, the fire's going, we're cooking things live over the embers. It kind of just creates the romance around, if you didn't fall in love with camping, you fell in love with, you're falling in love with it now with us. But I think the whole goal is making sure people have smiles on their faces, man. I really want you to kind of go back to your job, sitting in that cubicle, that office, that meeting, and you're like, damn, that dude made short rib, man. Like this short rib was good. Like seriously, man. Like that's the psychology of all this, man. Listen, we're selling experiences, man. This is not camping. This is a pure experience. It's curated, it's thought out, it's detailed. Yes, the medium is camping oftentimes. We do have other trips where it's no camping at all. Boutique hotels, we're in Tanzania, we're in Morocco, we're going to New Zealand next year. Like these are all places where the soul of camp is still there, but we don't always have to use tents to show that. It could be the Four Seasons, So it's all a matter of just service and being hospitable, bro.
Yeah, man. See, that's what separates Camp Yoshi from regular camping, though. It's the experiences, it's the gourmet meals, it's the thought, the intentionality that's been put there. You took the barriers away, the gear, the planning. And, even like, some people might think they come and eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches or tuna sandwiches or something. You show up and there's an experience, man. I love that.
Yeah, bro, I swear. I feel like there's a gap in the market around that too, man. Like eating outside shouldn't have to be a compromise. You know what I'm saying? It almost be like a constant,
Yeah, it should be a constant. And honestly, man, it should be something that, like you said, like you're doing the work. You did the hike. You did that. You got to treat yourself. So I love that, man.
Yeah.
So a lot of people also come for the community vibe, because I've been on trips where it's, I've been on group trips before where it's awkward or people don't connect, but Camp Yoshi always feels different. I mean, I'm 10 trips in and every time there's just this right sauce. Like, what do you think causes that?
I don't know, man. I feel like the whole group we have, all the camp groups are very like gregarious and charismatic. I think the branding of our trips obviously there's a lot of copy involved around explaining the details. I think the visuals really speak to a certain type of person. We attract a very curious individual. Even if you're an introvert, man, I feel like we have a programming and a playbook and a flow that disarms people in a way where you kind of become just the synergy happens pretty quickly. Not even if it's not instant, it always happens at some point in time throughout the trip. I think the fact that you don't have to work so hard for our experiences, campsites pre-staged, meals are bomb, the excursions are thought out, our staff is super duper engaging. It's almost like if you came with like some concerns, this is not Firefest, this is not like forced playtime and social time. This is literally like, everything's kind of been thought out to help you kind of just really let loose and relax and just be yourself.
Yeah, man. And I think that is what disarms folks, right? So there's a healing aspect of being outdoors. And, when people come and they get the vibe and they, people that I've never met, because even when I went on a trip, I didn't know I knew one person. And by the time I left, I felt like I had almost 12 new family members because
I didn't even know that about you. I was like, yo, Jake knows everybody. Like,
I did not know anybody,
you're living
man.
this
But I
Casey.
mean, that just speaks to the level of community that you're able to build. And I mean, now I'm traveling the world with those folks, man. I just did Kirk on the show. And we were just talking about how we met at a Camp Yoshi trip, man.
Shout out to
I think
Kirk,
that speaks
Casey.
to yeah, man. I think it just speaks to what you're building. And like, people are coming on these trips, man, especially, when I think about Black folks, the weights that we're carrying these days with the political environment, what's going on in this country, and just the weight of being in Black America. How do you hold space for that on a trip?
Listen, man, we're a Black-owned company, man, by Black founders that literally are our clients. We work in these spaces, went through these same schools. We see what's happening, man. We want to respond to it, too. And I know it's exhausting to be able to have to work a full-time job, hustle, grind, but also, have all the answers, because a lot of us don't. You know what I'm saying? That anger. 2020, when we launched Camp Yoshi, we were angry, too, man. And I think the reality was, can we pour into the vitriol and the anger, or can we kind of create a space where some of our folks can kind of just find a reprieve? And so I feel like what makes Camp Yoshi special is that we don't force anything, but I think the DNA of the founders represents the authenticity of our campers and clients, and that shows up naturally. You can't force that, man. I've been on organizations before and different outings where it was trying to be resolved or spoken on, but the reality is you can kind of know once you walk into any space whether this is going to be a good vibe or a bad vibe, or you ready to go already, man. So shout out to all the campers that continue to support us and show up every year for their annual touch grass moment. But I do think they kind of pick up on, without even having to say it, that we're here for them. We see them, and it's no bullshit. It's a safe space. Truly, it's a safe space.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. And so I'm wondering, have you ever had a moment where there was somebody's energy who was off, or where where you had to see somebody's energy shift throughout the trip? Like they came in one way and left completely different. Like, have you seen that happen before?
So we've had we've had over 1,000 campers, Jamie, and I would say that we probably had 2 instances where it went a little left. But I would say there's probably more beautiful moments where I think a camper came in like, what is this, Firefest? What am I getting myself into? And you, I'm no bush. I mean, yeah. Listen, man. Listen. By no means, Camp Yoshi is not the first group to be trying to get us outside. By all means, I think we are the latest version, or chapter, or just experience. It's built off so many amazing legends, icons, groups, doing the work. But that being said, though, we do offer an experience that I feel like helps the most timid sometimes, and maybe the most introvert, kind of just find their vibe. And not even saying they have to open up more so in the sense of just getting comfortable around others. And I think that's very powerful, man. So in terms of stories, nothing specific, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like the testimonials, man, like listen, we work our ass up to make sure everyone has a great time. I think the best thing we ever hear from campers, we just came from Puerto Rico recently, actually. It was a great trip. It was a good example. We had a client come out, super quiet, like hella introvert. And the entire time, like, oh man, she's not having a good time, bro. Like, what's going on? You know what? Like, what can we do differently? The last day of the trip, said the most amazing, like, thank you to us, man, as far as how appreciative she and Alex for showing around PR, the real PR, not the bull BS. No disrespect to San Juan, but like the real, like, from a local lens experience around the island and whatnot. But to hear that type of truth is something we always really, really, really embrace, because I know how hard it is sometimes to be around a group of people. Some people might have bigger personalities than others, and really kind of still find your joy and your peace. And so,
love that,
bro. I feel like we get blessed a lot with these with the feedback, man.
Man, and you never really know, man. People are so different. So the fact that people can come out there and really find their vibe, no matter whether you're like the most outgoing person or the most introvert person, like you're going to find your vibe and your crew, and everybody's going to feel at home. And I love that, man. I think safety.
For sure.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Well, I was going to transition to talk about safety, because I think, like, not just about physical safety, but psychological safety. So, like, particularly thinking about campers and, Black folks who haven't been in the outdoors, like, how do you ensure that everyone feels protected in these spaces, where, especially in places where they might not normally feel welcome or comfortable?
Yeah. I think we find a lot of safety in some areas that are just obvious. Being deep in numbers, you know what I'm saying? Typically, our size is anywhere from 12 to 16. I think that type of footprint gives you a lot more confidence and comfort to kind of really just show up and be the best version of yourself. All of our routes have been predetermined, pre-ran, pre-staged. pre-scouted. Like all these things happen beforehand to make sure y'all show up and are able to kind of really have a good time. I think folks don't sometimes realize how much work goes into planning these trips, man. I mean, there's certain routes that the folks have obviously come out for and like, oh, this is great. Y'all thought about everything. We've run that route probably like 20 times to kind of make sure this feels ideal and perfect. And oftentimes we can't run the route. We have enough guides and friends and mentors in these spaces helping them make sure these locations are just A1. I mean, hell, you came out to Canyon Country in Utah. That's my man, Sinuate spot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sinuate literally raised by the location. That is his home. I mean, obviously he lives in Colorado, but he grew up there. He loves the desert. I mean, he speaks the language there in a lot of ways as far as just being able to connect with the flora and fauna there and the topography, man. And so when you come up for that trip, you feel safe because you're around folks and guides to kind of just get the vibe, man. And so I would say strength in numbers is probably a big one. Obviously, on our trips, we always have 2 folks on our teams who are typically always wilderness first responder trained. That basically means you go to this course and you kind of learn about just all the different approaches towards making sure in the event something ever to happen as far as emergency or health issue, there's just someone who actually has been trained up to kind of have the certification around knowing how to respond properly. We always have a med kit. None of our excursions you're forced to do. This is not type 2 fun where, you know, the romance of the fun is in the suffering. This is more of if you love rest, need rest. If you love a good time and good conversation, if you love to eat well, if you love a good cocktail over a sunset or a sunrise, we're the spot for you, man. So I think all those factors play into making sure our trips really, really, really connect with safety and feeling present and not having all the fears and just anxiety comes with oftentimes getting outdoors. Not to mention, I'll say this last part. Obviously, I'm from North Carolina, grew up there, born and raised, Charlotte, North Carolina. Love the QC.
Oh.
Camping and outdoors, whether you're in the Georgia mountains, the Asheville's, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Historically, really wasn't my jam either, man. I mean, my dad carried a lot of fear and anxiety, my folks, my parents. And so even though we grew up outdoors in a little small footprint up around this little lake area, they were always very cautious and concerned about don't go beyond this tree line, don't go over there. And so even us as founders kind of had that baggage too as adults. But what was weird, Jamie, was a switch happened being out west, man. Like, I don't know about you, brother, but like the flora and fauna and the visuals out here don't have the same triggering effect. And I think I'm a big believer in genetic memory and genetic, you know, in what's the term? Is it trauma? Basically, the history of trauma and how it can carry over in terms of our memories and your DNA.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah.
Thing is that level of just like conditioning and trauma doesn't really show up the same way for me personally out here. And so I think curiosity definitely outweighs my fears out here versus I'm in South Carolina somewhere or maybe North Carolina. Yeah. I'd be a little more hesitant about trying to pull up to a spot at 9 o'clock at night and it's dark. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be, listen, I mean, I get it, man. Everyone has their own personal story. There's probably some folks watching this, listening to your podcast, probably saying something else or whatever. That's cool. But I think for a lot of us, man, especially from the Southeast, we can relate to the fact that it wasn't very common to go randomly camp in the 80s and 90s and even before that, and your parents either support that or give its approval, you know, back then. So out here it's just different, man. I feel like the trees, the forests, the mountains is different, bro.
I feel like every time I go out there, and I tell people this all the time, it's like, you know, there are obviously differences, but it's something about being in nature that makes it a natural equalizer because we actually need each other for our safety, right? So anybody we run into, it's not a matter of like, I'm checking on you, I'm trying to spy. It's like, actually, I know where you at, I see you, and you know, and if you see me, we're on the same page and we can, you know, we can connect with each other and we can make sure I'm gonna let you know what I've saw, what I've seen in the area and keep it cool. And it's the same thing. I've never really ran into any issues like that. I don't know. It's something about being outdoors that brings that out of folks.
Nah, Jamie, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I feel like my experience is typically you see someone out there if you see someone out there at the same spot you're at, y'all probably have a lot more in common than you do different. Not saying you about to become besties or run up on each other, but you know, we camped at some pretty wild spots, man. And you wake up next morning, you might see a tent about 100 yards away from like, okay, who is that over there? All right, cool. I see you. You know, man. They might offer you a beer. They might offer you some intel on like a cool like little spot or hidden vibe. But we've never really had any crazy altercations out here, man. So when it comes to safety, yeah, you go through some of these towns, you see all the triggering things around the Trump stuff and some of that bullshit. But I think oftentimes too, man, people are just people sometimes, man. And, you know, they don't bother you, don't bother them. You know what I'm saying? We keep it on.
Absolutely, man.
We keep on
I'm over
pushing,
here, man.
dog. Like,
We're gonna be over here listening to our music, having us a good time. You go do what
I'm
you got to
just
do over
here to
there,
get some
man.
gas. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I got Usher in the background bumping, you know what I'm
You hear me?
saying? And we're
Let's
gonna keep on pushing, you know what I'm saying?
keep it moving. No, I'm with you on that. I think that also makes me think of, man, is like when I think about, at least what I've learned from my time with Camp Yoshi is the majority of participants are Black women. And I know
Yes.
you are definitely somebody who's looking to shift that narrative. For one, I think encouraging Black women to continue to come out, continue to support, and continue to see Camp Yoshi as a safe space. But I think you also think that there's opportunities for Black men to also, or men in general, to experience the outdoors and come see what you have to offer.
Bro, listen, man. First of all, shout out to all the Black women. Y'all been showing up and showing out since day one.
Man.
You all are our biggest client. Every year repeating and showing up again, booking trips, making this a part of your annual touch grass moment. Fellas, man, like, listen, I get it, man. Like, it's how can I put this? We offer a product, man, that I feel like when it comes to recharging and really being on disconnect, you don't really have to do much except for show up. And I can't think of very many platforms where that really is a legit experience. Like, no bullshit. And so I feel like, I don't know, man, I think this year more than ever, we got more projects, collaborations with like Them Boys in the Wood. We're going to try to bring back again the singles trip. We're going to do something else different with it as far as promoting it.
Yeah.
I think once the guys come out and experience for themselves, it clicks immediately. Like, it just, you get it. But in terms of trying to, I don't know, man, I feel like we need to hire a consultant or something, but these guys are hard to click, man. Even my homies, man, they'll show up, but they won't. I mean, but also too, I mean, let's be honest, Jamie, ladies are out here really, really winning right now. I mean, in a lot of ways.
They're holding it down, man.
They are, man. And they not only holding it down, and ladies, my wife will probably be like, don't say this out loud, but I feel they have a sense of like, no one's coming to save you.
Right. Facts.
Like, no one's coming to save me. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is I want to do, whatever I want to go see, whatever I want to go vibe with, where it's traveling the world, a career, fam, whatever, man. Shout out to them for just saying, you know what, I'm just going to control my destiny, man. Yeah. I'm not saying guys aren't doing the same thing, but I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of ladies on our trips in terms of clients just saying, you know what, I ain't waiting for nobody. You know,
I'm going to go chase what I want, and I want to be out here in the nature. I want to get this reset. I'm going to go do it and I see it, and it's honestly inspiring to be a part of that. To be a part of that. And I will also say that I think I saw a New York Times article or something, maybe it might have been something on Instagram where like park rangers have had to go and rescue absurd number more people recently. I think partly because of like the in part of social media and people seeing stuff on camping, but they think they can go do it themselves.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that as somebody who has been a part of Camp Yoshi, you might be able to go back in your backyard or go out on some little land and throw some hot dogs on the grill, but you're not going to be able to camp like the way you camp at Camp Yoshi. And so I think if you really want that thorough experience, it's just, I don't know, it's just something about it. You're not camping like this, dog. I'm sorry. I think a lot of guys will say they can do this themselves or I don't need all that, but dog, it's not like this.
Nah, it's a little different, man. Like, listen, I mean, you go out there and, I mean, listen, clearly you know the experience, bro. And we have plenty of folks who, listen, man, look at our Google reviews, man. It speaks for itself. Between the gear we have, the routes, the locations, the network of folks helping us out to make sure these things happen without a hiccup, the meals, and to be able to kind of just show up and it's all dialed. No. I mean, honestly, I would say this: the biggest compliment but also kind of also scary, is that I want to go camping again, but I'm afraid to go camping without y'all.
Exactly.
Because the standard's been set, you know?
Go back. I'm not trying to. I got to do it every day. I'm not trying to be out here struggling, especially when like the climate changes or the weather changes. Like, you guys have so many redundancies that I've seen something flip up and you're like, oh, you go just grab it out of the truck. Most people are not going to prep for something like that. And they're going to be out there wet, mad, and cold.
I mean, you got to go with folks who like have dealt with all the problems, man. I mean, listen, we're not the perfect brand. I mean, our first trip ever was in I ain't gonna say where it was, man, but we were mobbing down this road, got these rooftop tents on these Jeeps, and they break off. I mean, they literally fall to the ground.
Yeah.
Ron and I are freaking out like, what the hell? Like, this is our first trip, trying to make a good impression. And you know what we did, man? Make sure everyone was okay, stopped the cars, make sure everyone was okay. Did a little like morale check real quick, looked at all the damage, called the vendor. That vendor we worked with was trying to show off their new product line of experienced vehicles that had rooftop Jeeps. He basically mounted the rooftop tents to the wrong racks. So basically it was all vendor failure. But my point to you is like, we ain't got time to be soaking in problems, you know what I'm saying? Like once the problem's resolved, no one's hurt, you keep pushing on. That was the first day of the trip. It was 3 more days left, 4 more days left. You kind of just keep rolling with the punches, man. But at that point in time, like there's no shame in trying to just figure it out, learn from your mistakes and keep pushing. But I think also clients respond to you at least attempting to make sure you're trying to salvage the situation and do right by that. And I think our trips, even though they are dialed, I think people will really appreciate the fact that we go out of our way to make sure you're comfortable, to make sure you are just prepared, but also able to thrive outdoors. And I think a lot of first-time camping experiences, or just even if you're an OG camper, it's a lot of work setting up all that gear, breaking it all down, cleaning it all up, making the meals, finding a good spot. Like, it's a lot. And by the time you have that window of time to even do all that, the weekend's gone. So I think if you're going, this is my shout out to all the fellas, or even like the folks worried about, I'm concerned about getting outdoors. Camp Yoshi is turnkey, man. You literally just have to show up, bring your clothes, bring your outfits, bring your looks for Instagram, bring all your fits, and let us kind of just show up and show out. That's how we roll.
Yeah, man. And you've done it. You've done it consistently. And I can tell you I've been a part of it since 2021 and I have not missed. Every trip I've been on, I'm like, I want to go back. I want to do it again. I told you I'm trying to climb. I want to hit all the Camp Yoshi spots. I want to get all the badges just because it's that type of experience. And I think that like that really speaks to kind of what you're building. So I want to talk a little bit about like your legacy, right? Because I know that you have a lot of things that are coming up. So where do you see Camp Yoshi in 5 years?
I think Camp Yoshi will continue to just grow and offer more experiences around the country, around the world. I think we're going to become a global brand. I think in our own backyard here in the U.S., setting up some specific outposts for folks to kind of always rely on every year for their touch grass moments and whatnot. But I do think there's a huge gap in the market for some new players in the outdoor travel space around the globe. There's a lot of vendors, a lot of locals, and some amazing places that oftentimes are being bypassed by major companies. So I love the fact that we're small, we're nimble. I think we can kind of really work well with a lot of brands and individuals on the ground that might not be traditional guides, but they might have a certain vibe for music, a vibe for food, or just like they have a certain taste level and curiosity with also curation of just things they love that can be also turned into an experience and whatnot. So I see more of that. I see us acquiring more land. Camp Yoshi's whole goal from the day one was buying up property and land in spots we deem are kind of close to the vibe. That could be adjacent to an outdoor wonder or maybe a multifamily in Jersey City. But the goal is to always kind of just build wealth through acquiring space and land, which I think in terms of as an outdoor brand, outdoor operator, I'm not a young guy. I don't see myself doing this another 10, 20 years. I hope it gets to the point where this is like a 100-year thing, man. And, there's another generation of young Yoshians.
Yeah.
But I do think in terms of really kind of making this thing sustainable is having property and land. So any folks out there want to invest in some properties, man, let's go. Like, holler at me.
Hey, man, hit me on the side. Man. Yeah. Let's do it.
Real, man. I think there's some amazing places out here, man. And let's just be honest with you. Like, we saw what happened during COVID. Folks are fleeing and trying to find spaces to just, I don't know, be in nature, man. And not saying you want to privatize things, but more sense is have spaces that we can really rely on and build programming that's accessible.
So what I hear you saying, man, and I think that like you want to create sanctuaries for Black people. You want there to be a space where, you know, anybody, I mean, I would say just anybody in general, if you want to come outside, you want to get connected to the outdoors, you want to do that, you want to build that, man. That is Black history. And I just want to name that in terms of Black History Month, because that's what you're building. And I don't think we have any spaces like that right now. So you're really pioneering something special, which I think is awesome.
No, I appreciate that, man. Nah, listen, man, there's a lot. I mean, at one point in time, obviously in the U.S., we had a lot of land in our possession, man. Obviously, over time, and the Homestead Act and some other nefarious, evil systems were put in place to kind of prevent that, man. And so I think as we have this big, beautiful return to the outdoors, I think a part of that strategy should also be us acquiring property and land to kind of be able to just, you know, scale, grow, but also, you know, have some independence from the system. I'm talking about even just foodways, man. Think about how many folks are just trying to figure out ways to get off going to the grocery store and relying on food systems and access to things that are just so. I don't want to get too deep. That's a whole nother podcast, bro.
Another podcast
about foodways and agricultural independence, man. But you know, and I keep in mind too, like, listen, man, Camp Yoshi over 6 years will always be a hub for adventure and guiding. But I think as we get older and kind of learn more about just, you know, ways we can kind of really help build this brand, but also build up our community, I think spaces are paramount.
Yeah, man. And I don't know if we can talk about this yet, but, you know, you talked a little bit about what Camp Yoshi's doing, but I also know you're cooking up something special. You want to tell the people about that?
Yo, so I got a cookbook dropping April 14th,
Let's
man.
Go.
It's called Cookout. I had a copy, man. But yeah, it drops April 14th. It's pretty much the first 2-3 years of Camp Yoshi and all of our adventures and how I've been cooking, what I learned in the process, and all the mistakes, the tips, the gear. The book's inspired by just how we eat outside, how we get down. It's not super technical, built on accessible meals, things you can prep at home. I'm a big believer in making sure you're not the guy or the gal going out making this big gourmet meal, and then next thing you know, folks is hungry and angry, and they want to eat you instead of the meal you thought you were going to make. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of recipes are based on prep this at home, and then go out and make it. Don't be the guy making this. You know. But trust me, I learned from mistakes, man. But yeah, it drops April 14th. Shout out to 10 Speed Press, man. 4-color books, Penguin Press. Should be a good one.
Man, that's so amazing. Now you're about to be an author. You got to add that to the catalog, man. What brought this about? Like, what made you feel like this was the right time to release a book?
Well, honestly, man, like, I feel like I've always wanted to do a cookbook of some sort. I think with Camp Yoshi's stories and journey, it felt like a really just natural, you know, thing to obviously cook up. Shout out to Erin, my literary publisher. She out about doing some things around some of the canon and just world building around Camp Yoshi and my story and whatnot. Between her and Bryant Terry, who's an amazing vegan chef. Shout out to Bryant. They kind of saw the vision, man, an opportunity, man. So they made it happen. So between him, Megan, my editor, you know, Alex Forestier, the amazing photographer out of Puerto Rico. Claire, my other editor, like all these folks were involved in the process, man. So big believer and advocate for it takes a village to make anything happen, man. And so my village really kind of came out in support of this.
Hey, man, well, listen, let me tell you something. I ain't never had a meal from Rashad Frazier that missed. So if you got a chance to get this cookbook, go get it out. I'm about to get this cookbook and be stunting on the people, man, because I can't wait to put a recipe together. You got to make sure you check that out. That's dope, man. So think about this. You went from, I mean, you're talking about less than 6 years ago. I mean, you're talking about 2019, so 6-7 years ago. You went from, you know, being a chef and this being an idea to now you have this business that got multiple partnerships with major corporations. You're hosting these events all around the country, all around the world. For entrepreneurs that are listening, that got an idea, that they're scared to start, what would you tell them?
I would say don't overthink things, man. Fail fast, bro. Like the idea that you're cooking up and trying to really hone and tighten, the world's so much faster now, man. Somebody else can have the same exact idea and beating you to the starting line. And I'm not saying that you still can't coexist, but I think oftentimes we harp too much on making it perfect. Social media is a powerful tool. Do not let that sink you from pursuing your idea because you see somebody else doing something you want to do. Use it for inspiration, use it for fodder, but the reality is, man, just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to kind of make mistakes. I would say, as someone who launched an outdoor adventure company having no experience, the skills I did have was I knew about hospitality, I knew about cooking. I knew I could really kind of build a product around those major things. Focus on your strengths, man. You'll be all right. Like, focus on your strengths. Don't overthink it. And fail fast.
Fail fast, man, and get out there and do it. I mean, like you said, you're going to find your lane. And even if there's other people doing it, don't even worry about that because they're not in your lane. And you're going to learn from your process. You're going to build it and you're going to refine it and you're going to keep going. So I think you're a testament to what that's happened, man. And I'm proud of you just seeing how this organization has grown and to just be a part of the organization's growth, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate you, brother.
Before we go, I think another big question I would ask, just because I think some folks might be hearing and listening to that, but for Black folks who want to get outdoors but feel intimidated or making biggest unsafe, what's your message to them?
If you're feeling intimidated or feeling unsafe about getting outdoors, I would start with your crew, your friends. Go out there in numbers. That's a huge, huge, huge way to kind of demystify and kind of get through those fears. Start locally. There's a lot of cool things in everyone's backyard. You don't have to go out to Moab or the Grand Canyon as your first clip. I mean, those places are dope, but don't be afraid to kind of explore your own backyard, man. But honestly, if fear is really a part of your struggle or just like, concern, go out there in numbers, man. Go out there in numbers. Don't be afraid to holler at your park rangers. These land managers, they're super helpful. One of the best things for Camp Yoshi is we reach out to folks who manage these places and we ask them questions in advance. Like, we want to know, like, what's going on? Should we be concerned about anything? And they'll demystify it pretty quickly. Beyond that, man, like, it's okay to be a little afraid, man. Like, honestly, I feel like we have so much control over everything and want to know all the answers to every single test, your day, the flow, the details. I mean, oftentimes with Camp Yoshi, man, I'll put out like a dummy itinerary just to throw you off. Because I don't want folks to kind of just go ahead and blow up the spot, you know what I'm saying? And so you'll be afraid of you'll be surprised at how that fear will actually turn into one of the most amazing experiences in the world if you kind of give yourself some grace and just put yourself out there, man. So like I said, if you're having some concerns about getting outdoors because you're fearful, you got concerns, find you a crew, man. I know that sounds crazy to say, especially if you don't have a crew. Find somebody. I mean, the reality is, I was by myself.
The Camp Yoshi. That's what I tell them.
Yeah,
when they
I mean, you can start here. You know what I'm saying? We're here for you.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Like I said, I'll be all the time, man. My curiosity outweighs my fears, man. So I'm not saying
always.
I want to see it all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, facts. And so it's important for folks to get out and do that, man, and explore. So as we wrap it up, man, this Black History Month conversation, what does it mean to you to be creating a new tradition for our people? Making outdoors accessible. What does that mean to you?
Wow. What does it mean to me? It means legacy, man. I feel like, I have children. I have nieces and nephews. I have friends. The same way I'm at the age now, I feel like the same people, the men, the women in my life that helped make me into Rashad, I feel like I want to continue the work they did for me, for others. And I Camp Yoshi, it's my way of giving back. I think it's really powerful to be able to set up against creating these spaces and in these locations for folks who look like myself and some of the most amazing spots in the world. But I think it's also about just trying to continue the legacy of, you got to get back to your folks, man, in ways that, I mean, we're doing something really, really interesting, but obviously it doesn't matter what it is, if it's camping or if it's like, supporting somebody else. But I think the main goal for all this is to kind of continue opening up and pushing the model and the needle forward for what it means to have new experiences, but also make it normal to be outside. Just make it normal. Make it normal. Make it common. I want to be able to have kids talking about, I grew up going to these spots. I was in Moab as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I want those stories. Making it normal seems like it's the best give back and the best reward for all this, man. Of adventure and getting outdoors feels like it's the best thing about all of this. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the best way to say it for the soundbite, but it's all good.
Oh, good. We'll forget it. We'll clip it up. We'll clip it up. But you said something, man. Like, normalize getting outside, man. Normalize going for the adventure. I think sometimes, man, especially as an adult, we're going to work every day. We're handling business, paying bills. We just forget that sense of adventure that gave us that zest, when we were younger, man. And, sometimes we think that that's something that's accessible to other people. And it's really accessible to us. And I think that's a human right. to have that sense of adventure and to be
Hell
able to
yeah.
do that every single day.
We all pay taxes, man.
You feel me?
I mean, listen, bro. I think being able to make the outdoors normal, but also make the outdoors accessible, and kind of show folks a way of getting outside that feels a little more. I'm not gonna say it's extreme, much more dialed and more of a production. I think people should see that level of outdoorism because there's more than one way to experience outdoors, and I think the way we do it kind of gives you a sense of like, okay, there's levels to this.
Yeah, yeah. And there's that, and I think that, you know, that piece too, right? There's levels to this. So get out there, explore it, and just know, man, there's always different ways for you to tap in and different ways for you to, you know, find your place in the outdoors. So
Facts.
with that being said, man, so people hear this, they're excited about Camp Yoshi. What's in store for this new year? This camping season's coming around? What should they know? Where can they go? What's up next for Camp Yoshi?
So whether this is your first time hearing about Camp Yoshi or you've been eyeing it for a while, you've been curious about it, this year Trips to Nowhere is back and bigger than ever. We'll be heavily in Oregon. If you came out with us last year from Portland to Mount Hood, we'll be in Bend, Oregon this year. That experience is going to actually feature hotel stays daily because the excursion is going to be so dynamic and fun. You need to get a shower and a bed to kind of restore. We also have experiences Monday through Thursdays this year. We got 3 dates up already. Trips to Nowhere families, please check those out. That's for ages 6 to 14, I believe. And then in terms of bigger trips, we got Japan in May. That's going to be a vibe. We're going to be up in Tokyo for 3 days and then push on up to Nagata for the Japanese Alps. Where else? We have Morocco and in October. That's a big push from Casablanca to the far, far, far east, mostly backcountry. Then you finish up with 4 days in Marrakesh. But that's going to be a convoy style experience with my man Abdel. Shout out to him. And then in November, we're going to Namibia. We'll be in Namibia for 12 days, man. Yeah. So that's a big one. And then I'm going to say this one now because it's 2027 push, but it's on the calendar right now. New Zealand. We hooked up with an amazing New Zealand brother.
Yeah.
That is,
he's a brother.
He's a brother. He's a brother. Not melanated, but he's a brother as far as support.
Yeah.
But anyway, the homie Mark, man, is leading a 13-day trip to New Zealand, man. It's gonna be epic.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's all about
That's
the parts
unknown right there.
The beaten path. He's a big PR person for New Zealand, man, and so he's leading the efforts for that experience. But I think it's kind of getting bigger and bolder, man. There's a lot of spots we want to get out to and see it our way. I think it's listen, man, the market's wide open right now for travel and exploration and guiding and whatnot. I think there's a way we can kind of do it where it feels very unique to our lens and our story and whatnot. And so those are all things that are cooking up this year, man. But definitely check out campyoshi.com. Trips are up. We just got back from Puerto Rico a week and a half ago. My brother Alex. That's gonna be an annual trip for us, man. So we're gonna go back again this fall. But yeah, life is good, man. Morale is high, and sign up for our newsletter so you can get all the updates.
Man, you heard it here. Camp Yoshi is going worldwide. Man, listen to all those adventures that Rashad just named. Check him out. The Instagram is at Camp Yoshi. You can follow him at Rashad Frazier on Instagram. Rashad, man, it's been real, bro. I appreciate you for creating something real for the people. This is beautiful. It's only going to be up from here. If you have not been on the Camp Yoshi experience, I got to tell you, it's one that you got to do and you won't regret it, brother. I appreciate you for making time today, man. It's been so real. Looking forward to copying that cookbook. I got some recipes I got to put together.
Thank you, Jamie, man. It's been a blast, bro. Thank you, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Yep.
Yeah.